Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday to all of you who are joining us. If you haven't already, if you can let us know what church you're with, where you are watching in the world. The chat is open so you all can interact in the chat with one another. You just can't see each other on the screen. Um, I am so grateful that you all have taken some time out of your day, out of your schedule, just to spend a little time with us here at the Candler School of Theology. My name is Marielle. I am the Director of Career Services. And again, I'm very humbled that you all are taking some time out of your morning just to hear a little bit about Candler. Some of you all may be integrated already into the Candler community. Some of you all may be alum of Candler, or maybe you're kind of still new to this process and just wanted to hear the various ways that we are preparing our students and the opportunities that we do have for churches to recruit our students, and then the ways that career services can also be a benefit to you. So I do see some folks who have already dropped where they're watching in the chat. You can all keep interacting and engaging, and please feel free, if you're just joining us, to let us know where you're watching from in the world. What's the name of your ministry or your church? We would love to know who you are and where you are. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I think I will be able to even give you back some of your time today. But I do want to just go over a few things, some things you all may know, especially if you've already been a part of the Candler community. But maybe I can also give you some things you didn't know. So that's very helpful. A couple of housekeeping things. Number one, if you can, as I'm talking, I'm going to go through the presentation and I'm going to save questions for last. But if you think of a question, if you could utilize that Q&A feature that's at the bottom of your screen, just so I can make sure it doesn't get lost in the chat. So just utilize that if you want to ask questions. I'm more than happy to answer those questions for you. Yeah, I think we're going to have a good time. So we're going to hop right into it because I do want to be respectful of your time. So today our agenda is pretty simple. One, I just kind of want to give you a brief introduction to Candler, right? The other is I want to give you a breakdown kind of the Candler student body, the profile of our students, some of the backgrounds of our students. And then I really want to be able to provide information for how do you properly recruit from Candler, and then the services that Career Service can offer you as a ministry and as a church. So let's start with the 30,000 foot view, right? So an introduction into Candler and just who we are. So here are just some few highlights that I would like to highlight for you. Number one, we are part of Emory University, in case you did not know. We are one of 9 schools that make up Emory. So we are located on the main Atlanta campus. If you didn't know, Emory does have 2 campuses. So we have one in Atlanta, we have one in Oxford, Georgia, but we are on the main campus. As far as the Candler student body, we have about 37 different states that are represented within our student body in 12 countries. So that kind of gives you a brief overview of that. Now, I'm excited to introduce you to the Office of Student Life team. That's where Career Services sits in Candler. The lovely lady you see to your left is Reverend Allison Henderson Brooks. She is our Assistant Dean of Students. In the middle there is Quentin Samuels. He is our Associate Director of Student Life. Dean Henderson Brooks and Quentin handle the day-to-day of our students. So it is making sure that they are getting integrated into the community, that their voices are being heard, their needs are being met, all of the things. So all the things that are pertaining to student life, these two handle that on the day-to-day. I am the newest addition to the team. So I have been a part of the Office of Student Life and here at Candler since September. So 9 months. I haven't been here a whole year yet, but I'm inching closely to that year mark. It feels like it's been longer just because of how much work we've been able to do in just a short 9-month period. So I'm really excited to be a part of the team. I have over 10 years of experience in career services, have worked at institutions such as Georgia Tech and Georgia State before coming to Candler. So I am very excited to provide some form of expertise in this area and to really serve the Candler community in this way. So that's the team for the Office of Student Life, but just wanted to kind of give them a shout out just so you know my colleagues. So now I really want to give you some numbers about our student body. But before I move on from the slide, that lovely lady you see standing behind the podium, that is our Dean Jan Love. And so I just wanted to give her a shout out. And this picture actually is from Convocation, one of our convocations. So I'm going to dive into our numbers just so you can kind of get an idea of how many students we have here at Candler as well as our alum. So these numbers that you see for total enrollment, that is for the 2022-2023 academic year. So we have 417. We are soon to welcome in a whole new group of students, which we are very excited about. And so hopefully I'll be able to give you an update as we get those students in about the updated enrollment numbers. But for this past academic year, we have 417, and then we have over 7,000 alum worldwide. I like to highlight that for employers, especially when you are posting positions with us or you're looking for potential candidates. Just know it doesn't just go to our students, it also goes to the alumni, because here at Candler, you still have access to career services and professional development and vocational services, even when you have left Candler. So I always say you may leave the nest, but you didn't leave the family. So we take care of our alum in that way. So you do have access to students and alumni as you are trying to find folks for positions that you may have at your churches and ministries. All right, further breakdown of those numbers, 54% of our student body are women, and that number is growing. We're very excited about that. 43% of our student body are students of color. 33% of our students are Black students, and then 8% of our student body are international students. If you are a church and you're willing to sponsor, please let me know, because that's always super helpful for me to know for our students. All right, so our students have very diverse backgrounds. So they come to Candler, many of them having already been in ministry for years and also in marketplace for years and have backgrounds. This is not an exhaustive list, but it's a pretty comprehensive one. And it does give you a really good insight into the backgrounds of our students. So as you can see, we have students who have business backgrounds, social work backgrounds, marketing backgrounds. And I think all of this plays very well into skill sets as you think about candidates for roles that you may have within your churches. And it's super helpful for us to propel our ministries forward when our people have very well-rounded backgrounds. And so I think that it plays well into when they come to Candler to get their degrees. As you can see, we have dual degrees and then we have single degrees. So our students who are dual degree students can work at the intersections of other disciplines. This is important for those of you all who are ministry folks and who are church folks, because we want our people to have those kind of well-rounded skills. So yes, I want you to have your MDiv, but then if you also have your MBA, there are business practices and acumens that we can apply to the ministry to really help us build the kingdom. And so that's what's important, right? So dual degree students, and then we also have single degrees as well. I won't read all these. I will be sending this out to you. So if you would like to look at this later or share it with other folks as well, you can share this recording with them and for you to rewatch later. I also want to highlight some of our denominational programs. So these are things, concentrations that our students can look at as they're obtaining their degrees. So we have Methodist studies, and I also have put the contact information for the people who are over those programs. So feel free to utilize that if you are a certain denomination. I think I saw a few United Methodist folks on here. So if you're not already plugged into our United Methodist studies program, then I highly, highly recommend that. So then that way you can have best of both worlds. So I always like to say it's both and. So it's career services and our denominational programs. We just want to help you spread the word as much as we can about the positions that you do have. We also have Baptist studies, we have Catholic studies, and we have Episcopal and Anglican studies. So if you are of a certain denomination and you fall within these categories, these are some people that could be additional resources for you, especially as you're trying to find students and alum to fill positions that you may have at the church or in the ministry. But we don't just stop there. We also have special interest area programs. Again, these are things that students in tandem with their degree, they can get certificates in and highlights within these particular areas. So Black Church Studies is one of those. Chaplaincy is a big one for a lot of our students. Religious education, women theology and ministry. That's another pretty big one. And then world Christianity. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that so you know that there are things that our students can get concentrations in or certificates in as they're getting the degrees that I showed you. And of course, Candler, we are a United Methodist-based seminary. And so we have lots of programs that we do around for the United Methodist Church and those who are seeking to either be ordained or be pastors within the United Methodist Church. So I wanted to highlight the United Methodist course of study because it helps to educate and train local pastors in the United Methodist Church. So if you are UMC and you really want to learn more about this and kind of want to inquire about it, Amy Walker is your contact. She's great. She can help walk you through that process, what it means, and maybe potentially how you get involved. But I just wanted to highlight that. All right, so let's get to the meat of it. So as I said, career services, I've been here since September, and we have been really trying to cast vision for what does it look like for us to serve Candler students well, and not just Candler students and not just Candler alum, but how do we serve our employers well? How do we serve churches well? And so I'm very excited to kind of walk you through one high level, but then kind of bringing it down to Candler and the ways that you can be involved, also in the ways that we can assist you. So a little over a year ago, Emory launched something called the Students Flourishing Initiative. This is a university-wide initiative, and there are 4 main components to the initiative that I kind of want to briefly highlight as I think they're important so you understand the approach that we're taking with trying to help our students. So one of the first things is the academic experience. So one of the initiatives is we want to have innovative teaching, and we want to expand access to all that Emory has to offer. That's for every student on this campus, whether it's the Atlanta campus or the Oxford campus. We want all of our students to have a good academic experience and to have access to all that we have to offer as a university. The second initiative is professional pathways. So we're approaching this holistically through career exploration and professional development. The thing that's important that I love that's a part of this initiative is that it starts in year 1, meaning from the time a student comes on campus, we are already helping them with the professional development things that they need in order to matriculate on into whether it's ministry or marketplace. The other 2, I think, are really great initiatives. The third initiative is purpose and meaning. So we are trying to inspire personal growth and purpose through intentional reflection. For any of you all who have been through seminary, you know that seminary is not just about the academic work. There is some formation that is happening. And so that does require internal work. So I love that we had that as an initiative as a university. For all of our students at Emory. And then also, last but certainly not least, community and well-being, right? That we have integrated support for health and wellness with a culture that helps build community and belonging. Again, if you've gone through seminary, you know it is really how important community really is. And so as we think about those 4 initiatives for students flourishing, that has been cast as the vision for Emory University as a whole, how do we bring that down to Candler and how do we serve our students? Well, it becomes very simple. We've decided that we're going to walk with Candler students from orientation all the way to graduation, and honestly, even beyond. What you're seeing on the right of your screen are just a list of services. This is not an all-encompassing list. It's not an exhaustive list because this list keeps growing as we keep thinking of ways and resources that we can provide for Candler students to prepare them well. But I did want to show you some of the services and some of the resources that we do provide. My motto for dealing with our students as far as professional development, vocational development, and discernment is that we are high touch. We definitely have one-on-one coaching with our students, but it's not just, I tell our students all the time, I don't do appointments. We do ongoing conversations, because as they're being formed, we want to ensure that we're walking alongside of them to help them navigate that process, and to help them. So it's not just resumes, it's not just, LinkedIn pages and all of that, but it really is helping them do the internal work that it is required as they lean into vocation. So we are trying to be incredibly strategic with how we're preparing our students for ministry and marketplace. And so one of the things that we thought would be a great idea is that we wanted something kind of unique to Candler students. And so what you see to the right of your screen is our Candler marketing profile. So we're going to kind of launch this for the next academic year. So for the 2023-2024 academic year. This is simply a document that really highlights the skills and some of the community engagement and achievements that our students have accomplished, but in a creative way. We want students, before they leave us here at Candler, to have three things: the Candler marketing profiles. We want that completed. This is just a mock-up, by the way. This is not an actual student. This is just a mock-up I did. So it's not an actual student, but I wanted you to see what it looks like. So we want them to have a marketing profile. We also want them to have an active resume, so students understand how to properly put their experience on the resume, how it should be articulated, that they understand how to shape their resume. But then last but certainly not least, a LinkedIn profile, because even in ministry spaces, there are plenty of ways to network on LinkedIn with folks who are doing ministry work, and to find positions. And it's just a really great digitized way of pretty much having a portfolio of what you have done and what you have worked on and what you have accomplished, just in a digital format. So we want those three things. We really want, before they leave us, that they have these three things before they go into ministry, before they go into marketplace, before they leave us and walk across the stage and graduate. So most times I'm always asked about, well, what skills do you feel like Candler students are developing as they're matriculating through, they're going through their respective programs? And as I really think this isn't an all-encompassing list, but these were some of the top skills that I think we gain as seminarians and in theological education. Critical thinking and analytical skills. The ability to communicate effectively, both verbally and in written form. Understanding of human behavior and relationships. A lot of our work centers around that. The ability to empathize and connect with others. Strong leadership and organizational skills. Conflict resolution and mediation skills. Cultural competency and sensitivity to diverse perspectives. That's a really big one, because a lot of our students do interfaith work, especially around chaplaincy. And so there has to be an understanding and a cultural competency of the people that we work with, and we're sensitive to the diverse perspectives and natures of others. And then also the research and information gathering skills, right? Sometimes we have to look at something that can be a complex idea, but maybe our job is to extrapolate that data and to make it practical and make it understandable to anybody, whether they're a lay person or not. And so that's important. So these are just some of the skills that we feel that our students are gaining and developing in as they matriculate through Candler. Okay, so I want to get right to the heart of what are some opportunities that you all as churches and ministries have to be able to engage and recruit our students. Before I move to the next slide, what you see on your screen, that picture there is actually from the first career fair that Candler has ever had. We did this in February, so 5 months of me being here, and we had every industry. So it was ministry and it was marketplace employers that were there. We were very excited and very still proud of that accomplishment, to be able to produce this career fair for our students, and be able to have folks in the community join us for the very first one. So we were very excited about that. All right, so here's the big one. So some of you all may be already on the Candler Jobs Board, but I did want to highlight that for those of you all who may not be. Candler we do have our own jobs board. So you can post paid part-time, full-time internship or fellowship opportunities to the jobs board. I do want to highlight this because I think it's important that you understand we are always thinking about our employers, and especially smaller congregations and also smaller nonprofits. So we have done an upgrade to the Candler Jobs Board to the point of, if you are a smaller organization and you don't really have, let's say, a human resources person or somebody that handles that, and you just need something to kind of help you track candidates. Well, the upgrade part of that was, I wanted to be very intentional about this, is that the Candler Jobs Board can be used as an applicant tracking system. So that's our gift to our friends who are smaller churches and who are smaller nonprofits, to be able to utilize the Candler Jobs Board in that way. So if you are trying to have one place where you like, I need all Candler students to apply here, but I need to manage the whole process in the system, you can do that. So we've upgraded it for you to be able to do that. University-wide, coming fall 2023, Handshake will be the primary career development platform used for the entire university. The difference between these two platforms, Candler Jobs Board is specific to Candler. Okay, so if you have positions, I highly recommend you put it on the Candler Jobs Board, but I did want to tell you about Handshake, because if you want to recruit from some of the other schools on campus, you can do that as well. Handshake is the best avenue for that because it's university-wide. It is free to utilize both systems. However, there are some features in Handshake, unless you pay for it, you won't be able to use. So for example, Handshake could potentially be used as an applicant tracking system, but it is very expensive. It's a package that Handshake offers to employers to be able to utilize the system in that way. So if you're posting on Candler Jobs Board, you don't have to worry about that because it's free. Like we're not going to charge you for that. So it's little differences like that. But if you kind of wanted to cast your net just a little bit wider, Handshake is another avenue. So you could put it in both places if you wanted to do that. Some of the other things and other ways that you can engage, we do host employers and organizations for in-person, hybrid, or virtual info sessions. Coming fall 2023, I forgot to say this on the earlier slide, we are launching our hybrid MDiv program. So a lot of our students will be all over the country, and they will only have to come to campus, I think once or twice within the time frame that they're in the program. So that's a wider net. So I always say we probably want to look at hybrid. So if you're thinking about coming on campus, we need to think hybrid or virtual, just so we can also make things equitable for our students who are not necessarily brick and mortar students. The other thing is you can do an employer tabling in the atrium. The atrium is the hub of activity during the fall and spring semesters. So a lot of times we have employers just come set up a table to just kind of meet students. If you have an open position, you can tell them more about the position. You can bring swag if you want to, or just to network with students. So that is a possibility. As I told you, we did our first career fair in February. We are continuing that initiative. So we do 2 fairs in an academic year. And so I'll give you more information about the fair that's coming up in the fall in just a few moments. But then we also have chapel on Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting in the fall. And it is from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Now, technically it's 11:05, but I always just put 11 to 12. You're more than welcome to join us. We have guest preachers all the time. Sometimes there's sermon talkbacks right after chapel. So those could just be really unconventional ways of meeting students. And so if you're ever interested in that, feel free to reach out to me so I can make sure that we take good care of you while you are on the grounds, right? The fall 2023 scheduling is open. So if there's something that you would like to do, so if you would like to do a tabling session in the atrium, we would love to have you. Let's talk about it and let's work to get you scheduled to come at Candler and just hang out with us for a little bit. So as I mentioned, the career fair, we're doing 2 of them, and the career fair that we're doing in the fall is going to be on Monday, September 18th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It is free to attend the fair. However, spots are incredibly limited. So make sure you get registered if you would like to participate, if you would like to attend. I'll be sending out more information to the folks who have already registered sometime next week, just to give you a little bit more information. But organizations who have paid part-time, full-time internship or fellowship opportunities are invited to attend. And so there is the bit.ly link there. So you can register today. I will also be sending this information out to you via email, so you don't have to worry. I'll definitely make sure you have it in your inbox. So if you ever want to schedule a time or an event, so if you want to schedule an event to come to Candler, I'm more than happy to have those conversations and discussions with you. I've already had a few, which I'm very excited about. Or if you're like, can we talk about this some more? Or you kind of want to think through something, I'm here to assist you as well. Something I will say, I've had some of our church friends reach out to me to ask about hiring practices. So what does that look like? What should the interview process look like? Or, how often should we be communicating with the candidates who are in the process? So if you're still kind of new to hiring, or you're not really sure if it's in alignment, or if something you're doing is a good practice for an organization to do while trying to hire a candidate, that's what I'm here for. So never hesitate to reach out. No question. There's no dumb questions. There's no question too big, too small, whatever it is. I want to ensure that you're protected, students protected, and everybody has a good experience within that process. So it's not just about recruiting them, but it's also about the interview process, the offer letter. So if you have questions, feel free to let me know. My email is on the screen. And of course, again, I'll email you all after this with more information kind of covering some of the things that I talked about today. But you're more than welcome to do that. We would love to have you. If you have questions, feel free to go ahead and put them in the Q&A portion, because now is your turn. I hope that gave you a high level view of Emory, but also Candler, and to see the ways that we're trying our best to make sure that our students are prepared. Yes, in the academic space, but then we want them to be well-rounded with soft skills as well. So if you have questions, feel free to do that. I'm going to stick around for just a few moments, just in case there are any questions. And Karen, very good question. So that data is still being pulled. So be patient with me, because that's something that I'm trying to explore as well, but I have to work with other departments on that. So hopefully I can have an answer for you soon. So to be determined. You're welcome. My pleasure. And feel free to ask any questions. Like I say, if you don't have any questions, I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that you gained something from it, and that maybe, you learned something about Candler that you didn't know. It's my sincere hope that maybe we'll be able to see you in the fall, in September. Or if it's just coming to hang out with us at chapel, we would love for you to do that. Thank you all so much again for taking some time out of your day. I told you I was going to give you back some of your time. And so I'm happy that I'm able to do that. Alicia, don't threaten me with a good time. I love coffee. You have to tell me where y'all are. So that would be great. So I would love that. I love having coffee. Yes. And if you all just want to meet and have, meet up for coffee or something, then just talk. That's cool. I'm with that as well. But yes, if you all have any questions, you have my email. corner of North Decatur. Beautiful. I'm going to write that down. So hopefully I can pop in one day. So if you all have any questions, feel free to let me know. But I hope that you all enjoy the remainder of your day. Have an awesome Wednesday. And I hope you have a great holiday next week when we celebrate July 4th. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you.